Hello and welcome to a Spring Snow Massage peer review science edition. Yeah, we're doing take two. I forgot to press record. My apologies. Hello, would you mind introducing yourself?
Here we go
So
again.
sorry about that.
I'm Scott Cave. It's so nice to be out here on the deck
What do you
with
do?
Gabe. And I'm a retired logger, mill worker, ex-military, and over the last 10 years, I've become a yoga instructor and a Renzai Zen meditation teacher and practitioner as well, Buddhist. And so that's kind of what I
Awesome.
do. I've got a little studio out here in Noti. I've taught all over town at the various yoga studios that we have.
Can you name them?
Balanced hot yoga, everyday people, wildlight back when it was Sweaty Ganesh,
Sure.
Gather Together, which was Nidra, and so a few places in town, and so you may have seen me there.
Yeah. I've heard your name be spoken in high regard.
Thank you very much. And so now I just kind of hang out here, and I've built my own studio out here during the pandemic to keep my people together because we were closed down, and then I just kind of stayed out here. And so that's kind of what I've got going on out here.
It's a beautiful space.
Thank you very much.
Cool. What's your definition of embodiment?
Take
two.
On the take two. So, yeah, I mean, the basics of it, to be embodied, it's like we have this body, and I referenced the Star Trek episode of the aliens calling humans, ugly bags of mostly water.
From their perspective.
And from that perspective, the uglies do it. It's a quote. But being in this physical body that is mostly water, we can put our thoughts into it, or we can have feelings. So it's thoughts, feelings, and awareness of it. So embodiment is like, I worked yesterday, my back hurts a little bit, and so it's like there's an awareness of something in my body that hurts, and we can take it from that, and you can go to a spiritual place of like meditation or yoga asana, where you are moving your body with awareness, and that's embodiment. And so I mean the spectrum is
Wide.
all over the place.
That's a very general word that is used a lot.
I don't have a definition for embodiment, because it can be as simple as I stubbed my toe to I am this close to nirvana because I've stared at a cave wall for 7 years. So
yeah, that's why we're having this combo.
It's all right in there. So we have a body and we have a mind, and we can think they're separate, or we can have them together. But that's our embodiment. Anytime that we think about our body, we are embodied.
Anytime we think about our body, we are embodied.
Indeed, yeah.
Cool. How do you practice getting people into their bodies?
I've got several ways that I like to do that. Personally, I have a meditation practice, Renzai Zen Buddhism.
For people that don't know, what is that?
It's
Most people probably have heard the word Zen before.
okay. So yeah, it's pretty much mindfulness. It's a lineage of Buddhism. There's many out there, just like Christianity. There's just a ton of them, and so the Renzai lineage is just one that I follow. Comes through Japan, and a couple teachers here in town, Shinkai. That some people might be familiar with at Everyday People Yoga, or our Zen Center.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
There's many Zen centers.
Yeah. All right. And so, with a short meditation practice, for me, it's a daily thing in the mornings. I like to have some structure, so I keep it in the mornings every day. But that helps me start, the process of getting myself embodied, to where I'm just sitting and I'm noticing, it's like what's going on in my body. And then, sensations will come up. And again, it's kind of like that. Does my back hurt, or did I stub my toe?
Is there a thought associated?
Yeah. Are my shoulders tight? And you can, like, with curiosity, you can explore, like bring your awareness like into your shoulders. It's like, okay, am I sore because I did some work? Or is this something manifesting in my body? Childhood trauma, relationship trauma, anything, it's like, what is this? And then with curiosity, placing your awareness into that place of your body and say, what's here for me? And I do a lot of yoga nidra, and there's
for people that don't know, what is yoga nidra?
Yoga nidra is a wonderful experience of it's a guided meditation that kind of takes you through different brain waves and brings you into a place of not quite asleep and not quite awake, is the simplest terms. And in that space, healing can take place because your body's at rest. It's actually pretty much the closest you can come to homeostasis, and still be, kind of functioning throughout your day. So, I mean, in a yoga nidra class, you'll come in, you do a little bit of movement, and then there's a guided meditation as you're in like a savasana or a supine, a restful, restorative position. And from that restful place, you kind of settle. It's like if you took some river water in a jar and it'd be brown, right? You shake it up, then you set it down, and you come back the next day, and now you've got layers of sediment and then clear water on top. And our bodies and our consciousness are much like that as well. And in Yoga Nidra, you can kind of like get to that place that the jar took a day to get to in, a half hour, where, your body will settle, and then your thoughts will also settle, and then there's this clarity. You get the sediment down at the bottom of the jar, and this wonderful clear water at the top, or some clarity, in which there's some embodiment there, where you can really tune into what's happening in your body, with curiosity, asking. There's things like using opposites. And so if you feel some tension in your shoulder, what if you felt the tension in your shoulder, and then what if you imagined a felt sense of softness?
Yeah, I really enjoyed your class this morning. I really enjoyed your kind of guided meditation of the felt sensation. Like my right kind of scaling was what I was noticing was like tight in my body. You initiated that in the beginning of the class, like where do you feel tightest, or I forget what the exact prompt was. But then you prompted at the end of the class too, and I just, after having done various breathing exercises, like I just did notice that, that does feel a little bit more open, or my awareness of my various minutia of movement patterns. Yeah, it was relaxing and helpful, I found.
Nice. So yeah, I mean that's my personal practices are, a little bit of meditation, which is just very simple, just sitting and just being aware of what's going on in my body. It's not the absence of thoughts; it's just being aware of what's happening in my body in a nice, quiet setting, without any distractions. As well as, yoga asana is a wonderful way to become embodied. It can also be meditative, especially when someone's just telling you what, it's like stand here, breathe this way, do this with your body.
Let go.
It's a great way, to be aware of your body, um, both internally and externally.
Yeah, I mean thoughts in the body do seem to be pretty interconnected. I don't know
Indeed.
how, but
Yeah.
they seem interconnected.
Yeah. I mean, it's so easy to actually bring tension into, an otherwise calm, serene physical shape. I mean, you can be, let's say, on your couch or like out here on the deck and having a beautiful day and be very relaxed, and then you can have a thought,
Tense on up.
and then all of a sudden my shoulders are tight. It's like, oh my god, Monday, it's like today's Sunday, it's a beautiful day, tomorrow's work day, it's like boom, and then all of a sudden you
You're
just
there.
just the thought of Monday morning, and now shoulders can be tight. But again, these things, they're just feelings, and that's the whole embodiment thing. It's like felt senses in the body, and we have the power, and we have agency. We don't have to be tense. We don't have to feel these uncomfortable things, that aren't even real. I mean, it's Sunday. It's beautiful out here. And the thought of Monday can change all that.
Loosen your
It's
jaw, as you
just
prompted.
indeed, yeah. I mean, you can bring in that. I teach, um, felt sense of relaxation, or your inner resource is what we use in Yoga Nidra. And it's just that the felt sense of being safe, secure, and relaxed. And if you close your eyes and you
Now,
take a few breaths, you can embody that. I mean, you know what it feels like to have that. And so if you bring it into your awareness, you can have it. And Monday is never going to get here if you just in that moment. And so that's the, I guess, the truest form of embodiment for me is everything is right here, right now, just this. It's all we have. I mean, the past is gone forever, and the future never actually happens. I mean, all we have is this present moment. And if you're in that, you have agency and you have power to go, I want to feel, you know, calm. And you can. I mean, it sounds kind of corny, but you can. You can bring in that felt sense because you know how to do it.
Now,
It's just do it. And so, yeah.
would you mind talking, and again, you can say no, would you mind talking a bit about your experience working with your fellow veterans in embodiment work?
Certainly. So,
Just
I'm a
seems pertinent to like being in the moment
yeah,
with,
yeah.
you know,
hmm
stuff.
And so I'm a combat veteran, and I've taught with the Veterans Yoga Project, um, and the Wounded Warriors Project, and I've done a fair amount of work with veterans as well. Um, and a lot of veterans, you know, have PTSD. You know, we don't. There's PTSD everywhere, but personally, because I'm a veteran, I work with other veterans because I speak their language of PTSD, and so a particular type of PTSD that I have common knowledge and personal experience with. Um, and so one thing, like we just talked about, that being embodied, you know, in the moment, and
Not
and
that other moment.
and being, you know, bringing in a felt sense. I mean, it can be a memory, you know, of a time when things were good, or you can imagine, and like you can just close your eyes and you can imagine, like in Yoga Nidra, we're in a restful spot, and you know you can bring in the sense, and you can imagine a place in the woods, or you can imagine, you know, a fond memory. Like for me, it would be like in my grandmother's house, you know, and the smell of cookies and things like that. But those things exist within our consciousness, and so you can bring those things up, and you can have that as your reality. We get to create our reality. It's this wonderful thing, you know. It's like we do get to create our reality, and there are, you know, external forces, and like for, you know, for me, like for PTSD, um, I can hear a leaf blower, or I can smell diesel. There are so many simple little triggers that are just everyday, common, ordinary things that historically could transport me back to, you know, a place of extreme trauma.
Yeah.
And I dealt with that for, you know, decades until I found these practices. First, it was yoga asana. I was able to just move my body and get out of my head and just, you know, okay, I'm just going to do these poses and just commit myself 100% to
That was
this.
like the entry point.
And so, yeah, so yoga asana was the first thing that got me there. And then meditation in yoga, through Vedic meditation, the yoga style, out of India. And then I found, you know, Rinzai Zen Buddhism, you know, from Japan. And those things all together became part of a toolkit to help me move into a place of the embodiment of just now, just this minute. I mean, because that's
How
really
about
what,
now?
that's just what it is. And it's so simple, but it's not easy.
No, it is not.
It's it is the most simple thing in the world to do, but it is not easy.
How about now?
But with practice, um, it becomes easier. And if you can dedicate some regularity to it and you get some consistency to it, then all of a sudden the new normal becomes being here now instead of living in tomorrow, Monday, or living in the past, my trauma, and just here, just now. These birds are singing. It's a beautiful freaking day.
It's a warm summer's
And
breeze.
so yeah. Um, so I have brought these practices to a fair amount of veterans, as well as they've worked for myself. My son's a combat veteran, and when he got out of the military and came home, he saw these things and practiced, and now as well, he's a yoga instructor, practicing Buddhist, and works with the Buddhist Warriors Project and things like that. So I mean, these practices are tried and true, um, and I guess, yeah, it's just a matter of finding a place to plug in and do them.
Yeah. Just having a practice now.
Yeah. And so, like I said, yoga asana is a great place. That's what worked for me to start. Meditation, it can be just a couple minutes, and people think that, you know, meditation is, you know, oh, I have to sit down and not think, you know, when it's really just being present with what's there, just sitting quietly and you don't try to push out your thoughts. You just allow everything to kind of move through and not attached. And then we get to the whole, no attachment thing. And so if I'm not attaching to my thoughts, I'm not going to attach to, Monday's work, or I'm not going to attach to, man, back when that time was so bad.
Yeah. I tend to, in my massage therapy practice, tend to be like science-y based. Are there any kind of science-y frameworks that you have used to, I guess, inform how you practice and teach others practices?
Yeah, I mean, through my trainings, I mean, a lot, well, a lot. I mean, the iRest and Yoga Nidra, there are clinical studies, behind that practice have been going on for years that do show, the benefits of it, as well as meditation. I won't even, it doesn't have to be Buddhist meditation, but I mean,
Just meditation in
just
general.
sitting and being mindfulness.
Hmm.
There are clinical studies that back all these things up.
And they keep coming out.
And so, yeah. And so, I mean, those things did influence me. I mean, I found all these things and practiced them. They worked in my life. And then, as I became,
Experientially.
a teacher, then it's like, okay, cool. I need to look into the science of these things. And yeah, it's all backed up with clinical studies, and definitely um, a lot of science to back it up. I'm not schooled in that so much, as far as I didn't go to college or any of that
Well,
stuff.
I mean, as I find, you
But
have to be like a doctor of like neuroscience to really get into the like quote definitive
yeah,
science stuff, because so much of, again, that's part of why I'm having this series of interviews is there people, you will use words like authenticity or embodiment or whatever jazz words, and they don't necessarily mean a whole
yeah,
lot beyond subjective experience. Um, so yeah, that's why I'm trying to like package the information,
sure.
I guess.
Well, one thing that I do know is that we spend so much time in our sympathetic nervous system,
Oh
whether we
gosh,
want
yeah.
to or not. I mean, we're just work, family, culture, and what we want to be is in our parasympathetic. We want to be in that rest and digest. And through these practices, yoga, meditation, breath work, pranayama, Wim Hof, I mean, all these things.
Different vehicles to get
Yes,
there.
yeah, all roads going to the same place. But it really is as simple as, I mean, we can just close your eyes, take an inhale, take a long exhale, and just focus on your breath. And with 3 or 4 breaths, you can take yourself out of that stress, fight, flight
Do you want to do
into.
that for people on the internet right now that are still watching? Like
Sure,
just run them
yeah. I
through
mean,
that
we
four
could do
breath
we could
cycle?
do we could do a quick little pranayama.
Yeah, let's do it.
So yeah, just find a comfortable seat, and with your eyes soft or closed, hands comfortably in your lap. And as you inhale, draw your breath into the lowest place that's comfortable. And exhale slowly. Let your shoulders relax. Breathing in. And allow your exhale to become just slightly longer than your inhale. If it helps to count, you could count for 3 on the inhale, exhale to 4 or 5. And as you do a couple repetitions of that, you'll notice the inner landscape slows down. Perhaps your thoughts don't move as fast. And it can be as simple as that, just taking time in a quiet space, just accentuating your exhale a little bit. It's nothing fancy, it's just that. It's just breathing and taking time out to do that.
Anytime.
A dedicated space. Yeah, it could be in your car, on your lunch break. It could be on the way into work. I mean, you can do it. I do it in the grocery store all the time when I'm waiting in line. It's like, I'm going to this line. No, now it's full. It's like, this is a great time. I can just sit here. And you don't have to have your eyes closed, but I mean, it's just that embodiment. It's being aware of your breath. And so instead of thinking about what's next or what happened before, think about your breath. And by placing your awareness on your breath, or even in your breath, it stops the train of thoughts. inner landscape starts to calm down a little bit, and then you will move into your parasympathetic nervous system. Your heart rate will slow down a little bit.
The mind follows the body.
It does. Attention follows your focus.
Beautiful. Well, I'll track down some peer-reviewed papers on studies of meditation. I don't know what I'll find at the moment because I haven't done it
iRest
yet.
is a great thing to start with.
iRest.
Yeah, Dr. Richard Miller took Yoga Nidra from the Vedic Indian tradition, and he's a psychologist, but it was developed for veterans that have PTSD at the Mayo Clinic, and there's been all kinds of clinical studies on that. So that's a great place to start. So,
Awesome.
yeah. And those things are out there. Everything's on the internet.
It really is.
It really just is.
Yeah, but it's just nice to have some discourse with people that are practicing here in Eugene.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, anything else you want to share before we close?
Well, thanks for tuning in and watching. Thank you for showing up. It was nice to spend the day with you.
Yeah, beautiful class.
Yeah, blessings on everybody. Hope you have a great day.
All right, thank you. We'll be here next month on polyvagal theory.